Glenn Parker High Vibration Foundation. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to include this in the $1 Million Challenge, and it's because I want to talk about mental discipline. So what do I mean? Whether you like NLP or Bashar's threshold of believability or whatever tools that you like to use to be able to get your mental focus, if it's parts of any kind of meditation, it really is critical for manifestation. And so I had been living with my mom for years and years and years. I was very sick for years and years, like 20 years, required oxygen to fly in commercial airlines, had cancer in between all that stuff. Bumped all that out of the way, started feeling better 2009, 2010, and only the last year and a half, I really started to feel like a human being again, and started finding a lot of tools that bumped all that stuff up, detoxing and all this stuff. And so long story short, because I have a whole chronologue of that story if you want to look through the videos, she took care of me, I took care of her, and then she was getting older, I was feeling better, and then a slow transition into really taking care of her and helping her get packed for a move, and just losing myself altogether. You know, I didn't do anything for Glenn, never spent anything for Glenn, I never really did any, dedicated amount of work to get money coming in to be able to have money for Glenn to do anything. So it's been like 20-something years since I've done anything fun for Glenn, since I've really gone on a vacation or done anything interesting. And I've been talking to a couple of people, one in particular that's been helping. I said, you have a lot of anger around this because, they're all moved in and now you have nothing. I don't have a car. I don't have any debt. I don't have any bills. So it's really a nice launch point, but it is one of those places where, if I want to go somewhere, I have to get a ride to go get groceries and all this crazy timing and away for a long time too, because there's always other errands to do when you go with other people. And so, I was instead focusing on being thankful for having these things and having a launch point and being better and not dying and having people that love me that will do things with me. And, yes, they're older and they're a bit in the way of negative, and they're usually, having things that need to be done, and they take up a lot of time, but just to be thankful for this process. So what I'm saying for mental discipline is what I've been noticing. I've been doing an exercise and, release techniques, EFT, all kinds of things, Bashar's threshold of believability to be able to release some of these things. And what I've noticed in the last couple of weeks for manifestation, first I've had some more feedback for the deal I put together for a reality TV show and the dispensation. They're moving forward in contracts and mutual NDAs and getting all that together. And I've been reaffirmed via email that yes, you're due monetary dispensation and we're working all that stuff out. So that should be nice, and that'd be a car and all kinds of cool things, and some camera equipment and new place to live and all that kind of good stuff, and a trip, maybe get an RV and run away for a while. So with that said, what I've noticed about mental discipline is this. Over and over and over and over again, something will come up or something will, I'm doing the same thing over again, and these things come up and these things come up, and you just get more angry about them, and maybe you subvert them or you're not really examining them. Whether it be your living circumstance or, having opportunities to go see people and not being able to get to them or having to explain why you can't get to them, and all these types of things. But more subverting what would be fun and manifestation, you need to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others. And it just through a very crazy set of circumstances that I just got lost in that process, and I didn't take care of myself. So I took care of other people instead, and I had a lot of subconscious anger around that. And there still is, there's still some anger that comes up, and I'm catching it now and releasing it through various tools. And what I've noticed by doing that and being more focused on what you want and being appreciative for the things that you have. I have a laptop, I have a phone, hello, and so I have the ability to do videos, I can upload, I can do all these things, and I I have a nice launch point. I'm fed. I'm safe. I have a place to live, and all this is good. So, no worries, no complaints on any of that. So, what you need to do, well, you don't need, I'm going to catch that, you don't need to do anything. What you need to, no more need. The thing to do is to allow what you want in the way of mental manifestation. So what I'm saying is more concentration and more mental focus on the things that you want. That would be fun. You need to muse over things. You need to be excited. So if you're not excited about a particular thing, move on to something else and something else and something else until you find your energetic line of excitement, and then get into that eddy and just muse over what would you do, and would you do music, would you paint, would you go and take a trip, who would you want to see, and all these types of things. And that eddy of excitement is creating a magnetization to that parallel reality that is being pulled to you via law of attraction. So really, mental discipline, if you're finding yourself and the founders did a bit an audio on this, where getting out of the eddy of repetitive thought. And so many other people, Bashar and Threshold of Believability and Abraham-Hicks getting into the vortex, and it is just settle a little bit, and more and more and more get into the vortex. But if you're saying, oh, I can't go through this and blah 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 blah, then you're not in the vortex. And everything that you want. So if you're trying to get into the vortex to get a Humvee, it's just going to spit you out. But if you get into the vortex and you're having fun and you're seeing people and you're doing this, and then the next thing you know, you have a Humvee, or you have a new home, or you have a trip to Italy, or whatever it is that you're looking for that you want. So the critical idea here is being able to have tools, whatever it is, NLP, Bashar's Threshold of Believability, some symbology, some music, whatever you can use for your matrix that is a permission slip to catch yourself and reframe your mind and a mental discipline, popping back into, I'm being appreciative, and I want to go do this, and I want to go do that. And let me give you an example. Over the past 10 days or so, I started exercising that more and more. I'm not saying that all this negative stuff has gone away. I'm still working on that, and I notice it coming up. And I can feel it now energetically. It's heavy, heavy, heavy. The things that don't belong to you are heavy. That baggage is heavy. You can start to recognize it. So, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go more and more. So, I would say the most important part of this process is the musing. What do I mean? Is like, so I started musing over things, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to go do this, and I want to go do that, and, I'm not going to let this bother me, and I don't need anything. I'm going to allow what would be fun for me, because I haven't had fun in a long time, and it's time to have some fun. So I'm just going to start to allow things to be fun. And I had a little bit of money come in, and I spent some of that. And I'm like, there's still some left over. It's not like, just enough to keep Glenn alive type of thing going on. And then the next week, a little bit more money. And I'm like, So I was able to buy my own lunch, and I'm able to do this, and I'm able to do that, and pay my bills, and get this stuff done. I'm like, mental discipline. That's interesting. And not needing anything, and being okay with what is. Because Bashar was saying that is the game, that you're playing with yourself. Whatever you put there, whatever's pissing you off, all these things that are coming up is you putting them there to see if you can get past them. And once you're okay with them, they no longer energetically have a need to be there. They might echo, because space-time has echoes, just to test you, quote-unquote test you, come back up to see if you really energetically have changed, and you have, then everything can transform, and you can have whatever you want, and you can do whatever you want. So it works really well. And even as of today, I've all day been going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to the different ideas, maybe being a little bit more angry about this or that, and then being relaxed into it. And I've been doing sacred circuitry every day, and I've been doing the threshold of believability every day. And I've been, not every day, but I've been doing the sacred circuitry and the transformative shifting, the holotrope experience every day. And then along with the image from the Great Pyramid of Giza, that's up from the Queen's Chamber that's through a hidden door. You can find more information and a link to the image down below. So, in summary, really, it is mental discipline about focusing on the things that would be fun for you. Because if you can create more of a magnetization to the things that you want rather than toiling over the things that you don't want, you're just going to keep getting the things that you don't want if you predominantly are thinking about those and remagnetizing that parallel reality to you. Magnetize a new parallel reality. I like the idea, and I've been talking to someone that's been helping me through this process and helping me recognize this, and thank you, you know who you are. And they were saying quite a number of things, but really that when you release these types of things, there's a lot of energy. I've taken a couple of really long naps after these conversations, but it comes down to energetics. What parallel reality do you want to magnetize to you? And you can't have $1 million without musing over what would be fun to be able to get that. It's being in the vortex, and it's not even the goal of the $1 million, for instance. It really is the lifestyle and the fun. I could really care less about $1 million. It really is having personal freedom to go and do what you want to do when you want to do it, which is, I think, Bashar's definition, and I think that's a fantastic definition. It's having the resource to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And if that ends up being money that's needed, it will be there. And living within that excitement. So following your excitement, imagining more things that would be exciting to you, using your mental discipline, getting it out there, just getting it out there, and being more in the now, and doing some of these exercises are very, very helpful. The transformative shifting is helpful, and I haven't added that back in yet. I'm going to add that in shortly. But the threshold of believability and holotrope experience, and definitely sacred circuitry, noticing a lot of changes, bouts of unconditional love coming back in, making it a lot easier to do this process. So I think that's longer than I wanted to do, but there it is. I think that gives you a quick summary, and it gives you a prime example that following your excitement can, because it was exciting to do this type of challenge, and it was exciting really to go and reframe the mind and see if mental discipline, by letting go of these expectations, could yield results. And it's been a long time since I spent, and I still have some money in the bank. Wow, awesome. And then these other things are coming up. So you have to have a mentality, a $1 million mentality, to be able to get $1 million. You have to muse over going and being in Europe or Italy if that's where you want to go, or being a painter, or if you want some new equipment or anything it is. But if you're doing it to get the items, you're really approaching it from in a sideways fashion. You need no more need. You can allow more by just following your excitement. Everything will come as a lateral consequence. You don't need anything. If you follow your excitement, everything is in that excitement eddy. It's within that parallel reality track. So I say, if nothing else, following your highest excitement and having some mental discipline to be able to figure out what is exciting to you and imagine and toil over it and muse over it is probably the most important thing. It is the most important thing, because that's really all you need to do to get the things that you really actually want. Thank you very much for joining me. Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation, coaching, life, business, and spiritual. Lots of cool stuff going on in the description below. Lots of cool things, links to different places, different people as well, like some of the channels that are like my favorite channels. And please like, subscribe, and share.